Good evening, and welcome to the Heikadelic Show. We would like to take this moment to let you know that viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. So sit back, have yourself a nice cool drink or hot drink, and enjoy the show. And welcome once again to the Heikadelic Show.
You better subscribe to Pine Tree Line Outdoors, and here's why. Have a look. It's been an incredible time. Aubrey Falls.
And then there were two.
Yeah. Hey, at least everybody can see our big fat heads today.
Yeah. Well, Kathy's
Welcome
there
to
anyway.
another edition of the Heikadelic Show. Yes, and Kathy's number one today. Nice job, girl.
She's number one.
Yeah, she actually likes our show.
Number one.
Number one.
Yes, she does.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so missing George today, and who knows?
Yeah. So George is oh, hang on a second here. I got somebody chiming in.
Oh, do you?
Why don't they just do it on the show? I don't get that.
I know, it'd be so much better.
It would. Oh. It's my mom. She says, "Where's George?"
Where's George? Oh, your mommy loves George.
Well, I think so. I think there's something going on there anyways.
Yeah.
Well,
And I did want to
we
go
know
see
George.
I did want to go see Derek yesterday. I
Oh
was
yeah.
going to sled down from my place, but there just wasn't enough snow.
No. It's
Yeah.
too bad, like it almost felt like spring, and then all of a sudden, this crappy weather today. So
Yeah, like right now. Have you been outside like now?
a little, like it's coming down like crazy right now. So
It's snowing
Just-
like a bitch, and the wind is so hard. It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh yeah, same here. And it's, I was so like happy the other day because the everything. I think it was whatever Thursday or Friday. Like it got into the pluses, and
Yeah.
it was so nice here and sunny. And I thought, wow, looking at the big green beast and thinking maybe I should fire it up and go on a tour, right? And
Right.
and then all of a sudden, this is coming. But yeah, this morning it wasn't so bad, and then it was cold this morning, though, because I was at
Yeah.
work. I actually have a job now, so
It's cold now too.
yeah. But I was out on like a tarmac kind of thing, and it was so cold. But yeah, and you have to watch for even walking a long distance. Let's say, for instance, you're at an airport or something, big facility, and you got a long walk. I mean, you can get frostbite just walking in the door or to the door. So you got to watch that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Now you got to be careful.
So yeah, George is mom. If you're out there, don't be sad. George is coming back. He's just spending some time getting his computer overhauled, and he's got some family visiting, so he'll be back
Yeah.
soon. And yeah, but we're gonna take another backside attempt.
Are we?
Yeah,
Nice.
Last week we did it. It
Uh-huh.
was what was it last week? Oh, I'll show you what it was. It was rod. So this was the backside. George is all intrigued now because we attempted it without them. But
Oh, that's a rail car wheel.
it's a rail car wheel, exactly. So I think
Uh-huh.
the clues I gave were, I don't know. I was told they were kind of lame, but anyway, it was Rod Stewart,
Huh.
and yeah, I'm not. I can't honestly can't remember if Kathy got that last week or if it was Deb or somebody else. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't write shit down like George does, right? That
Yeah.
guy, he's like a walking encyclopedia for music.
He sure is.
So
That's funny.
yeah, we'll give it an attempt and see where we go with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Last week I wasn't even there for the whole show. I just came in at the end.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But at least you got
yeah,
here, so that's good.
yeah.
Um,
Out of a vehicle, it's funny. You can do the show from just about anywhere.
hmm. So how's your dog doing?
Well, uh,
That didn't
if
work.
if I was to say anything, I'd say he's getting a little better. It's not a lot, but
A
I
little.
think just watching him, looking at him, he's a little more mobile.
Hmm.
But he's a spaz, and that's the whole problem. He always was.
He doesn't realize
It's
he's hurt.
no, it's like 100 miles an hour or nothing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and now he gets excited when someone comes to the door and he wants to get up and zoom over there,
Mhm.
and he'll take the corner here with his front legs, but his whole back ass end and his legs and everything slamming into furniture, and he's breaking
Yeah,
shit, knocking stuff over.
yeah.
It's and then he hurts himself, right?
Mhm. So how's he getting
It's
around? Like, did you get him something for his back legs, or is he walking now,
well,
limping?
what I do when he's outside, when he he's got to go to the bathroom and stuff. I actually
Grab his hips.
got one of those cloth shopping bags, the
Oh yeah,
ones you get everywhere for groceries or whatever,
yeah.
and cut the sides out so it's like a wide strap with handles.
Sure, like a
So
lift. Yeah.
so I put that under his back end, and I pick him up to go up and
Uh,
down and out the door and down the
yeah.
stairs and all that. And then
So
on
it
the
seems
lawn,
to
I
work.
just kind of just let him go, right? It's nothing else I could do,
No.
right? Because he needs to use his front and his backside to do his business.
Yeah. Well,
So, but
I
he,
was thinking about that contraption, which I still have here,
yeah,
which is the wheelchair thingy, kind of,
right,
and it's
yeah,
adjustable. But then I was thinking, well, like you work with metal, maybe there's a way you can just take it and scale it up or something, right? But I don't know.
yeah,
Your
yeah,
dog sounds like he's pretty big, so he might not.
yeah.
But
We just
here,
had him. We just weighed him as 110 pounds.
so here's the thing, like you can actually there's about almost two oh can't see it here, about 2.5
Yeah,
inches that you can actually extend it out, right?
so to widen it, right?
To widen it. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then you can still raise it, you know.
uh-huh.
You can actually raise it probably another couple I would say another 2.5 inches because that there's some
Oh yeah, screws on the
Allen,
side there. Yeah, yeah,
Allen screws and so it might be adjustable.
uh-huh.
Well, it's definitely adjustable, but it might be. Oh, and even these little leg things. There's a cable. It's inside the rubber. It's a cable, so you can adjust that
Okay.
as well.
Oh
So it might
wow.
work. I don't know. Let me know
Yeah,
and figure out how to get
put
it.
some bigger tires on it, and away we go.
Yeah, bigger snow tires, right? You gotta get them for the wedding or
Oh, oh,
the weather. Did I just say
yeah.
wedding? Oh God,
Yes, you did.
I got no brain.
Yes, you did. Oh,
So
you got mush brain, do you?
if Kathy's still listening, which she may or may not be, I don't know. So there's I've got Ciroc vodka. What was that sour puss
Sourpuss.
or whatever, and
Yeah.
orange juice, and I don't know if I got a little bit of rum in there actually. Hang on a second. Oh yeah,
Yeah, the sourpuss will get you.
it's very tough. It's very tough.
Yes.
So yeah. So
Well,
your
you have to be
dog?
creative if you don't have any beer.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, I've been running around this week. I ended up on the weekend went to a Mardi Gras party, and it was
Okay.
a lot of fun, a lot of food, tons of food. I think Stuttering John's donated some food. It had I'm not even sure what to call it, but it was amazing. It had
Uh-huh.
brisket on this kind of sauce. I don't know if it was kind of a soup, but I tasted it. It was wicked. There
Yeah.
were all kinds of really good, you know, dishes and stuff, and um, so yeah, had some. Actually, no, I drink. I just drink Diet Pop because I was driving. But the I don't know, the weekend football weekend. I got beer for that.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of fun, and Uber's the best way to go, right? Like if you don't have to go crazy far. But I find
Yeah.
that you can almost go, pretty much to Whitby or Oshawa in, $30, which isn't bad.
That's okay.
I think
Well,
so.
Uber, isn't it just a little cheaper than getting a taxi?
You know what? It seems to be,
Yeah,
and it's very
because that's
competitive.
what I heard. I've never used it, but I heard it's a bit
I love
better
it.
of a deal,
I've never had a bad Uber experience ever.
right?
And a lot of the ones down, like there's a lot of them that drive Teslas now, right? Because
Uh-huh.
they're better on gas, or well, they don't take any gas. So a lot
Right.
of well, so there's a guy who just lives not too far from me, and he's got a
Hmm.
Tesla 4 or 5, I think. The one where it's got the big wings, the doors that open like wings,
Uh-huh.
and it's kind of like a soccer mom bus, but that thing is wicked, and it's got everything in it, drives itself the whole bit. And
Right.
I just think those cars are so amazing. And obviously, they've proven to be the fastest cars in the world, right? So there's nothing really that
I
beats,
don't.
maybe
Well.
somebody's got a rocket strapped to a car. But
Uh-huh.
no, they did a drag test, and I think they've got the world record now. So I should look. Where's Derek? He should be looking that up
Yeah,
right.
I know he should be looking that up. There's a lot of fast cars out there, so I wouldn't bet on that, but
No,
I know they're
well,
getting quicker.
the thing is the amount of torque. Um, it
Well,
just,
electric motors have more torque than people know
yeah,
because even locomotives, believe it or not, are electric. They're
yeah. I
diesel
don't know.
electric. They have a big diesel motor, what everybody hears, that runs a generator that runs electric motors,
Right, but
right?
yeah, and what that did when they started drag racing the Teslas, it actually sparked interest in the motorcycles, right? Like, you see all these e-bikes and stuff like that. I bought
Yeah.
an e-bike last year, might have been the year before, last year. And I went to one of these events, overland events. So I brought it along because we're up in Muskoka at Deerhurst at the old, they had an airstrip there. They still have it.
Uh-huh.
So we were all set up on the airstrip, and
Right.
people were using their e-bikes, right? So I brought mine
Hmm.
along, and it's pretty fast. So, but there's some that are really fast, and people were zipping along on their e-bikes, and in those events, as long as you're not leaving a carbon footprint, you can, like, if you were there with a gas bike, they wouldn't allow it, right? So,
Right.
yet they've got these 4x4s and diesel trucks and everything running out there.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. I've been seeing a lot of videos and articles about electric vehicles
Yeah.
uh, catching fire, the
Oh, I
chargers
know about
catching
that.
fire,
Yeah.
and the firemen trying to put out when these Teslas catch fire, they
Yeah.
can't put them out with foam because it reacts with the chemicals in the batteries, so it doesn't put it out.
Don't tell me that, Hike. I got one on charge
No,
in
it's
my
serious.
friggin'
Yeah,
garage right now. So,
not a Tesla.
no, I wish I had
No.
a Tesla on charge in the garage.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that we're new to this, and there's a lot of problems they're still having, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
Well, and then there's
ev-
that one where some some guy got killed or some pedestrian or something. I don't know the details, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's a little unnerving. I think I'm in love with Elon Musk. I mean, I watched some videos from Joe Rogan. No, but he's just such a friggin' brilliant guy, yet can be stupid at the same time, right? Like, I mean, the whole Twitter thing and that, but not he's not stupid by any stretch. He's just, hey man, the guy's a billionaire. He can do whatever he wants. If he's ticked off with the company, wants to buy it and
Well, that's
do
the whole
whatever.
thing is he's ticked off with the way they're doing things. So he says, okay, fine, I'll just purchase it and change it.
But his goal in life is simple. He wants to die on Mars, right? And I
Yeah.
just when I watch him talk, it's like, I wonder if he is some kind of android. It's just he processes things, right? And
Uh-huh.
thinks about it. And obviously, he's got a little bit of a condition. But the guy's like, if he said, listen, Ringo, come on down and help us build some rockets in Texas, I'd be there in a heartbeat, right? I'd have to fly back on weekends and to do the show, maybe. But
Absolutely.
yeah, do you know he bought Gene Wilder's house?
Really?
Yep. Now he's in a process where he's selling all of his real estate, and he's like he physically lives at what does he call it? The where he builds his rockets. It's called something now. Space something. Well, it's at SpaceX, but
Yeah.
the actual place is called something. So he lives on
So
the
and he lives there on the base now.
yeah, I think it's called Space Base or something or whatever,
Uh-huh.
but it's SpaceX, and he lives there. And what he's done is they've constructed, and he'll probably sell it because he like touches anything, it turns to gold. But he's got these sort of modular houses that just flip out, right? And all of a
Uh-huh.
sudden, bam, you've got a house in minutes. And this thing is not very big. It's probably, a few hundred square feet, and that's his
Hmm.
place. But it's, it's nice. It looks like a little bachelor kind of thing, and it's right on his star base or whatever.
Right.
But he's if you watch him on Joe Rogan, he talks about how someone being in his position, his houses become tactical threats
Hmm.
because people would be knocking at his door randomly. I got to say, if I had his address, I'd be going to say, hey, Elon, let's go for some
Yeah.
beers or
Let's
something.
go for a burger.
Let's go for a burger. Let's
Yeah.
go build a friggin' rocket or something, right? Let's storm Area 51 on my e-bike. No,
Yeah.
let's get a Tesla 5 and go
Yeah.
storm Area 51, right?
Hmm.
But yeah. No, it's just I was reading about I think yesterday, Neuralink. So
Neuralink.
he's got a company called Neuralink, and what it does is they figured out they've got devices that will take over your motor control center. So if you're disabled, it'll help you walk
Right.
again.
Yeah.
It's got so if you have, let's say you have chronic seizures, it'll
Hmm.
actually send out a countermeasure to stop the seizures, like a spark kind of thing.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and what's awesome about it is I think he's tapped into the whole uh, you know, our bodies are made of energy, right? And that's why,
Yeah.
like, even when we talk about things like ghosts and all the spiritual stuff, it's all
Hmm.
energy. And
Yeah.
I think so. He's captured the essence, and it's so fascinating. I was listening to him about, these light probe implants that they would put in for someone who has, let's say, early stages of Alzheimer's or dementia,
Hmm.
and the idea is that it's all based on electrical signals,
Yeah.
and the notion is that the electrical signals will stimulate parts of the brain that you would have memory recall, and so they haven't. That episode I was watching is 2 years old. So I went on to
Okay.
Neuralink, and I actually pulled an application to apply as a patient because I wanted to see what the criteria was.
Uh-huh.
But because I'm not American, I don't qualify.
Right.
I'm anticipating I'll get early stages of some kind of a. Well, I already have like CRS, right? That's known. I've talked about it on the show before, which is
Yeah.
can't remember shit. And
Uh-huh.
but now it's developing into full blown craft disease, which can't remember an effing thing. So I'm anticipating that may be a problem. And I'm not trying to make light of dementia or any of that. It's horrible. My grandmother had it, and I seem to be the only one she'd remember. And I mean, what woman on the planet would forget me, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. The disease is not going to prevent that. But at the end of the day, I think it's such brilliant technology. So yeah, so 2 years ago, I'm watching that video with Rogan,
Right.
and so yesterday I actually went on to Neuralink, and there's an application to become a trial patient, right? So
Okay.
yeah, interesting stuff.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wonder
Oh,
if
and
the probe and electrocute you and see what they could do.
by 20, I think it was, and this wasn't from Tesla or so Elon has a series of robots now that they're going to offer for, I think your base model is 20,000 US. And
Yep.
so it can be used as, your own butler, whatever
Yep.
else it does. I'm not going to lie. I think, throw some anatomy on it and use it as a love doll. But,
Uh-huh.
it's amazing when you think about it, because if you think of somebody who's got a disability, like a one-person assist,
Yes.
you might be able to have some of your independence back if these things are, rigid and able to, to help you do things or help lift a little bit. But they say, I think it was 2028, we will be able to have our household chores done by a robot. That's around the corner, right?
Yeah,
That's
it
5
is.
years from now.
Yep.
So,
Well, simple tasks I can see. They already have those little vacuums that putter around themselves,
yeah,
right?
I've got one.
Yeah.
Something robot, whatever.
So yep. So they can make those a lot fancier, a lot better. They've been around for a long time. Food, a machine can fix food, get stuff out of the fridge, make some certain things, and for people that can't cook their own food,
yeah,
a machine can do that. Even if it's open a can and put it in a pot and heat it up. Like, again,
you're very basic.
it's mobility. It's something helpful, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dispensing medication, bringing water, like all that kinds of stuff. That's already being done. So yeah, I could see that.
Oh yeah. So I've got, well, I haven't seen them in years, but
And you know what's gonna happen with that, right? Everybody's gonna get these things. They're gonna be in everybody's house, and then one day we're gonna piss them off, and they're gonna kill everybody.
Well, whatever. I mean, it all depends. Like AI is. Oh, there's Oman. Hey, buddy.
AI has just gone rampant.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just see what.
What's Oman have to say?
So Oman says Neuralink is so that you can uplink to your electronics. Yeah, that's a great point. There's probably some adaptability to other electronics to to sort of hijack their control. You see, just think how brilliant it would be when they hack your brain. Well, I get that. I mean, I see what you're saying. But we tend to look at the darker side of that. And hey, Rhonda, we tend to look at the darker side of all of that. But at the end of the day, imagine, right? Let's say, for instance, you have somebody that's close to you that has dementia, and miraculously, it stimulates the brain to the point where that person can, you know, at least have a better quality of life and
Yep.
remember people. I mean, that's what we have at the end of the day, are our memories, right? And it's terrible to watch somebody kind of go and their memory goes, but their body is still functional. But anyway, enough about that. But it you know, imagine these people that are disabled, and
Hmm.
we can stimulate muscle movement and all of that stuff. And then the other
Yeah.
part to that is I was watching, because you know how YouTube is, right? It spools and you drift off to sleep for a bit and then you wake up and you're watching something new again. But
Yeah.
there was a guy on there, and this was so impressive. And he was walking on a stage, and he had both of his legs amputated due to frostbite. He had gotten, well, you know, out skiing or whatever, and it created some kind of infection. So he had them both lopped off at the knees, but he had robotic, um, uh, you know, not just what do you call them, like a um, oh gosh. Um, like when you think about someone who has a prosthetic, that's the word I'm
Yes.
looking for. A prosthetic, it, you know, it's kind of like, we try and make it look like a human leg, but this technology is not like that. It's like this aluminum shaft. It's definitely not human looking. It's very
Right.
bionic. But the foot
Yeah.
movement, oh my goodness, the foot movement was incredible. This guy was
Yeah.
tiptoeing and just kind of gently walking on a stage. No loss of balance or anything. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
he'd been working with it for, I think, over a year, he said, but um, you can't tell the difference, right? And but
Yeah.
this technology was awesome. I just couldn't. The foot was in it looked like it was in a slipper, and it
Okay.
just was
Yep.
so, it was almost like a dancer, right? Very, very smooth. But I wonder, what kind of power does it take, you know? And not to sound like a smart ass, but how do you, like, what do you do? Clip a USB power
Well,
cord,
there's
or
there's
what?
there's got to be some kind of power cell
Battery pack.
attached to it. It's either built into it, so you
Yeah,
can't really see it. It's a part of it, or you have a belt on with some batteries on it. Like it's and it's
yeah.
got to be low volt because it has to be recharged, so it can't drain the batteries in a few hours, right?
Few hours, yeah. So
Yeah.
old man's saying that if we think it's all great, we're not really looking in deep enough into the uses of these technologies. And those vacuums have cameras in them. Just think about. Well, my vacuum I don't think has a camera, but interestingly enough, I've been wanting to put one on the thing to see what my dogs are up to when I'm not home. But you know what? Oh man, we live in Canada, right? And that considerate prime minister of ours took our handguns away. So, um, you know, I think that I have no idea where I was going with that, actually.
No,
But
as soon as you mention him, everything goes for a shit. So
yeah, 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 yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, that's right. It's got me thinking of a whole different thing now. So,
Uh-huh.
um, oh my God. I think
Uh-huh.
what yeah, I got nothing. So the vacuum cameras, or vacuums have cameras in them. Like I said, I always thought of putting one on, like some kind of a USB one. I have one that once it's charged is cordless, and there's several out there. It would be neat to get one of those vacuum perspectives on, you know, chasing my dogs around the house or whatever it's going to do.
Yeah.
But you're right. Those really don't have AI. They're pattern mappers, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about them. But AI is really what we have to probably be concerned about.
Yeah.
Hey, Susan, they're
Well,
meant.
the next thing in our household that's going to have cameras built into it is going to be our TVs. Just like the laptops do, they have a camera in them. They're going to do
Well,
that with the TVs.
guaranteed 100% that.
Yeah.
I get my
And
little drink pitcher on here.
yeah, they already know what you're watching, right? They
Yeah,
know
I
what
mean,
you're tuned into. Then they're going to be listening and looking in everybody's home. So
Well, I just had Norton telling me I'm being tracked by adnxs.com is tracking me right now, whatever that means. But yeah, I think AI though is something that's a little bit concerning. So Susan says there are meds that can slow down dementia, not to mention there is something to correct OT
correct it.
to
To
correct it.
correct
Yeah,
it. Yep.
yeah. Sorry about that. So absolutely, it slows the progression down. But fun fact, I was just talking to Code today, Code from Toad, and we were talking about mushrooms, magic mushrooms,
Yep.
and as said before, there's a Netflix documentary called something about mushrooms. It'll come to
Okay.
me, but it's amazing, right? Because they talk about the benefits for people maybe with dementia, Alzheimer's, number of benefits if it's in small
Yeah.
doses, like psilocybins, right? Um,
Right.
and it's pretty incredible. And I got into that because again, I was watching some Joe Rogan stuff, and he was talking. They did this compilation of talking about mushrooms and how everything's about the dosage, right? And not that I'm recommending any of that because you can go on a terrible trip, but a lot of people go on these great trips to the point where it's like cross dimensional, right? It's like you open up this other dimension, and people
Uh-huh.
have really profound experiences. In
Yeah.
fact, to the point where they do it once and they never do it again. It wasn't because it was a terrible trip. It was because it was so profound. They actually see see life in a different way, which I guess, you know what, if that's going to stick with you the rest of your life, that could have an adverse effect, right?
Right.
So it's equally dangerous. So old man saying fall for their sales pitches. I I don't think it's about that. I think I'm fascinated by technology. I have enough knowledge about technology that yeah, it's like the pursuit of who are they, right? Do we have aliens controlling us? Do we have lizard people? Do we have idiots like Justin Trudeau? Yeah, we do. Unfortunately, that's a real thing we have. But anyway, like who are they? So, this is discovery. I got into a debate on Oculus one night with some guy who's uh, very much about the scientific community. And I said, you've got a pretty narrow mind when all you think about is anything that can be scientifically backed, because at the end of the day, you still need seekers and discovery, people that want to find the truth and discover the truth. Then once they
Mhm.
find it, or they find evidence, they bring it into the scientists to lick it and stick it in a book somewhere. But at the end of the day, I think we have to have open minds and look just beyond, scientific research.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably somebody will. Oh, this is where I was going with that thing about handguns, right?
Uh-huh.
Again, yeah, somebody's always going to find a way. I mean, this is why we can't have handguns, right? Because people use technology, they use things like firearms to do harm, kill people, crime. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, I'm still a firm believer people kill people, and whether you use a butter knife or a
Yeah, a handgun, a rock, or tire iron,
rock
it
or
doesn't
a
matter.
rock, yeah, cavemen killed people with rocks, right? So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on from that. Put duct tape on it. I agree. Like on the cameras, we um
We
I
always put
remember,
electrical tape on them because you can't really see it there. It's black on black, and that's it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm told if you pee on the camera too, it puts some kind of a weird coating on it. Just saying.
Okay.
But don't pee on Heiko's phones because he just got them today and it took him 5 hours to get them.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, man. You know,
Yeah.
new technology. So originally when I talked to Rogers on the phone, right? And they were offering me a deal. So I can order 2 new phones
Yeah.
and then just ship them right to the house. And I go, well, then what happens? He goes, oh, no worries. You just take the 2 phones, you put them beside each other, and they back each other up, and all the new software uploads. And it's easy, right? Well, if it's so fucking easy, why is it that when Alana and I went to get new phones today, we sat there for 5 hours,
Yeah.
and still we have so much. When we got home, we were doing stuff at home. We're doing,
Yeah.
it's still not done.
No.
So don't tell me that it's easy. You put them beside each other and it just works.
Yeah, and it's absolutely ridiculous, and
it should just work. Like, come on,
Yeah.
you have a list of contacts, right? You have apps that you put in there. What else really is in a phone? You have your internet. You have it's simple. It's a
Right.
simple computer, right?
Yeah.
Why can't it back itself up?
Right. And it should be
Yeah.
able to, right? It should be absolutely, you know, like, automatic, like a plug and play or
Like they
activate.
said, you have an old phone and you have a new phone, and you put them beside each other, and one updates the other one, and then the new software takes over, and there you go. Like,
Like,
right?
I like Alexa and Google. I'm familiar with Google because I have several around the house, but I love
Mhm.
it. But now I hate it because it seems to it starts conversations on its own now, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Yes, because it's always listening,
Oh, it's always
and
listening.
when it listens, it's looking for keywords.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say Alexa,
Yeah.
it recognizes that word, and right after that word comes a question or a command or something, right?
Yeah.
But it's constantly in your house listening.
Listening.
And you
Like,
have your
imagine that.
conspiracy people or whatever, you say things that you maybe shouldn't say, it picks up on that. There's no enforcement or nothing
None.
happening yet, but
Right.
it will. It will. And I tell
So,
people to do this too. If you don't believe me, take your cell phone before you go to bed at night, put your TV on a channel that's in a different language, and
yeah.
just leave your cell phone by your TV and go to bed. And I'm telling you, the next day you will start getting ads and
That's,
all kinds of shit in that language.
wow.
And you tell me, and then you
Hey,
tell me, no,
hey,
my phone's not
everybody,
listening.
let's try that with our smartphones.
Yeah, do
Leave
it.
it on a obscure language channel or other
Yeah,
language and see if
either
we.
radio or TV, whatever you have that you can leave on. That's you can find another language. Like put the Punjabi channel on and put your phone down and
Yeah.
see what happens the
Why
next
not?
day. No, right?
I know it's
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So hey,
We've
I
had
want
that
to
too. We've been sitting in the living room just talking about stuff.
yeah.
Like when the pandemic first started closing everything down,
All of
we
a
were
sudden you get
talking
ads.
about certain things, and we got emails from the government about exactly what we were talking about. And we're like, what the hell is this? Right? So,
So speaking of which, I mean, usually it'll listen and all of a sudden you get ad placement that, hey, we just talked about that. How freaky. Nothing freaky
yeah.
about it. It's picking up your keywords. But I wanted to okay, so this was kind of a little experience I had. We all know that you know, Danny out at
Uh-huh.
Country Stop at 48 makes the best burgers ever, right?
Yep.
And here's his double trouble right there. And this is where you can find him. Actually, that's the
Look at
new.
that place. That looks so
So,
good.
so I wanted to talk about on. It was on. I think it was maybe early Saturday. I was down in Ajax and I stopped at Wild Wing, and I was very, very impressed because the Wild Wing. There was a show called Undercover Boss,
Hmm.
and um, Wild Wing is a franchise outfit, and so anyway, this I guess one of the owners or CEO of Wild Wings went out and actually I think went to one of the ones in Durham out
Hmm.
in Oshawa and just tore them a new hoo-hoo because the standard was laxing, and so anyway they got it all
Yeah, it was
sorted.
the one in the north end of Oshawa.
Yeah, I
I
think it
remember
was at
that.
the OC, wasn't it? Like at the Oshawa
No,
Center
no, no,
off the
no, it
property
was. Um, it's
or 5.
Simcoe. Is it Simcoe Street North?
No.
No, it's not. It's the next one to the east, and you go north, and there's a Wild Wing up there. It's a north end. It's a plaza just south of Taunton Road, and
Oh, the
that's
old
the one they went into.
the old 5-star plaza. I think there's a
Yeah.
Metro, and then there was a Wild Wing on the back of the property.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Anyway, so there was that, and then I noticed some biker friends of mine. We used to go, and we'd bike up to what were we talking about? Hike just north of here. So we'd stop at a Wild Wing out there, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but
Oh,
then
up in Brecken.
Brecken, yeah, it wasn't bad,
Yes.
but I don't know. I think it's kind of been up and down, but it's still well. There's a lot of patrons that go there and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
went into some that were absolutely terrible, like
Yep.
greasy floors, and just yeah, it felt a little off when I left, and
Hmm.
but you know what, it's kind of fun because you got the wings, you got the bucket, and I don't think they do the
Yeah.
bucket anymore. But so here's the thing: I thought, well, what the heck? I'm gonna try. I stopped in one out in
Yeah.
Brampton, and it was closed. I stopped last week because I thought, well, I'm gonna go check it out. I always used to like going there. So then
Right.
I went to the one in Ajax,
Hmm.
and I was really, really impressed. And if I can get my pointer back here, what's going on?
You
There
had
it is.
your
So
you
this
had
is
a
what
nice
they
hot dog,
served
did
me.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry about the orientation of the screen, but that hot dog. So at the bottom of the screen, there's a hot dog, and then there's French fries, seasoned French fries, and then the wings, which were kind of a mild buffalo-ish sauce, but more of like a Jack Daniels, I think. Um,
Right.
that was friggin' amazing. That was the best hot dog I've had in years. The fries were great. And look at how clean the plating is, right? And I don't know if you can see a little bit of the table in behind. I swear you can eat off the floors. It was just awesome. So I don't
Hmm.
know if that's pushed by the franchisor, or we just sort of lucked out and found a real good Wild Wings. But
Hmm.
I definitely highly recommend it. It's Wild Wings in Ajax. I believe it's on uh maybe Harwood and 2.
Right. Hmm.
And it's just a little south on Harwood from 2,
Hmm.
and I think there's a Burger King on your right. You look at your left, you'll see it because it's right by the highway. It's a little strip mall.
Yeah.
But I highly, highly recommend it. The staff was super, and yeah, it was a great, great time.
I think it has a lot to do with the owner of the place, right? Some people that have a restaurant, they just want to make their profit and don't give a shit. Other
Yeah,
ones care and they want the place kept clean and stuff like that too. Because I've gone into a Swiss Chalet franchise, which are everywhere, and this place was, like you said, it was disgusting.
yeah,
Your shoes were sticking to the floor as you're walking,
or
and they
slipping.
had a little bar area you could go to when you're waiting for your takeout food.
Yeah,
And I put my arm down on it, and my shirt was sticking to the freaking table. And I'm like,
it's gross.
I just walked out.
And if you're there for a few hours, it's in your
No,
lungs.
I
And
ordered my food for takeout. I was picking it up. I just left. No,
but
if this is this dirty where the customers sit, imagine how filthy it is in the back.
well, not only that, but grease gets rancid after a while, right? So there's a lot of
Yeah,
germs and crap.
yeah.
So Susan is saying when Alexa turns green and I'm not talking to her, I unplug it. Hey, that's not a bad thing. I've called all kinds of names to my Google because it just seems to all of a sudden wants to talk while I'm in the middle of a phone call. And and I'll say, shut up, you effing whatever. And I get,
Yep.
some snarky response.
Right.
Uh, so Susan's going to try that tonight, I guess. Put the phone out, maybe put her TV on a different language, and let's see what happens.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yeah.
come back next week and
And tell us what your experience was.
yeah, let us know what your experience was for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Rick is the founder, right on. Yeah, so I guess yeah. So I'm pretty sure she's talking about Wild Wing. And yes, you are correct.
Right,
It is
Ritson
on
Road.
Ritson
Yep.
North. And
I couldn't think of the name of the street. I used to live in that dirty town.
Yeah. Oshawa was worse. Lindsay is all right. Aurelia is great. Yeah,
Oh
they're really
wow.
hit and miss, right? Because probably it's pretty hard to control franchises. It really is, even though they pay a big fat fee, but when they're told to do something, it's they under the terms their franchise could get pulled, but it's not that easy to pull a franchise, especially after they've put a lot of money into down payment for it and everything else.
Right, right.
So yeah. Well, thanks for those comments, Susan.
Speaking of Oshawa, I don't know if you've heard this yet, but Oshawa is on the list to become a smart city. Have you heard that?
Well, I don't know because you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, no, this is totally messed up. There
Yeah.
is a government website you can go on. You can Google it. It comes right up of all the smart cities in Ontario. So what it is they've agreed to do this. It's not here yet, but people should be very aware of what's happening. And if Oshawa is going to do it, what this means is anyone that lives in Oshawa, you have from your home, you have a 15-kilometer radius.
Okay.
That you can't leave. You have to stay in that 15-kilometer radius. And cities are doing it because they say we have all the amenities. Why do people have to leave? Well, for a lot of reasons. So the questions are coming up. Well, I work out of town. Okay. You're only allowed to leave your radius so many times in a year. And if you go over that number, you'll be penalized. So it came out even to Ford. They were asking Ford about this because parts of Toronto want to do it as well. And they said, well, how are you going to penalize people? They said, we will tax them. So there'll be added taxes. They're going to nail you with them if you leave your designated area.
Okay, so that sounds like prison. So
Yes.
I wonder if they're going to
Yes.
supply us with a soap on the rope as well. Because really what they're doing is, do you ever see District 9?
Yes.
With the aliens that were contained in almost like a junkyard?
Yep.
So that's setting up like districts that you can't, to me, that's prison, and it's governed by, the governance would be like a martial law kind of thing eventually, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So idiots like that are just going to bring our society to a civil war. I was I'm trying to think of the name of it because I'm lousy with me. My CRS is turning into craft every day. So can't remember shite to can't remember an effing thing. But anyway, so again, this is on Ajax Highway 2. I think it's called Celebrity Cuts. Great barbershop. And I was in there and I was chatting with a few guys. We all got talking about society today, and
Hmm.
kind of all of this, really the same mindset, which is really interesting. And then the question was asked, like, where do you see society going? And I didn't have to answer this, but it's on my mind all the time, and it's civil war, right?
Yeah.
And if you look, again, that Netflix thing that was called Social Dilemma, which
Hmm.
talks about how all of the big social media players and a variety of different big companies are really masterminding this sort of brainwashing that happens with social media, and even with the ad targeting and everything else. Um,
Yes.
and the net result, once they went and they reviewed all of these past employees of some of the biggest companies in the world, including the one we're broadcasting on now, basically are saying, hey, you know what, it's going to end in civil war. So anyway, enough darkness on that, but you know, we probably want to start looking at that and yeah, preparing for that concept, but hopefully not, and hopefully we all live in peace and harmony. But you can't, it's that saying about power corrupts, and complete power corrupts completely, or something like that. And when you look at people that run, well, individuals, a small pocket of individuals that run our country, and then
Mm.
you look at the families and large corporations that ultimately have a hand in everything in controlling what happens on the planet. These aren't good people, right? And it's not,
No.
they're not working in our best interest whatsoever. So
Hmm. Yeah, it's just people got to wake up a little bit and look past their noses and not just believe everything that they're told.
yeah. So Susan's saying the region is sending two
Yeah, I don't get that. Two homeless to Beaverton?
too many, maybe.
I don't know.
Well,
Try and fix that, Susan, and send it. I want to know what they're sending up my way.
fun fact there is, um, we were, and I didn't notice this right away. I was driving by a bus stop, and those enclosed glass things where you wait.
Yes,
There was a
yes,
homeless person set up in there, and he was using that as his, I guess, temporary dwelling. But he was living in there for
yes.
quite a while. So then the city, in their infinite wisdom, and I don't know what they did with the poor guy, but all of a sudden they had removed the entire structure, right?
Yeah,
Not with him in it. I guess they vacated him somehow. I'm hoping that they got him to a warm shelter, because it
right.
was probably some of the coldest days in the month that we had.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, rather than say, "Hey, look, we got a better place for you," and kind of set them. I mean, a lot of homeless people, reject housing and any of that stuff, and it could be for a number of reasons. Could be just
Yep.
because they don't want to be somehow controlled, but it could be mental issues, a number of things. But
Hmm.
for them to just obliterate this bus shelter, I thought was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And anyway, no, it's amazing what
It's
hits the
yeah,
news.
it's the people that are in charge are to blame there because it's a chain reaction. What happens first is you have somebody living in a bus shelter.
Yeah.
So now you have people complaining. They
Oh yeah.
look and they go, "Oh my God." So they have to complain, right? And then the people that work for the city aren't smart enough by any means to figure out a reasonable solution to this. So that's what they do.
Yeah.
We'll just take the shelter down so he has no place to stay, and that's that. And then people will stop complaining. First
You
of all,
know,
the people that are complaining, you know what? If you care that much about somebody staying in a bus shelter, you don't want them there, take
mhm.
them home. Invite them to your home. Let them live in your basement or in
Yeah.
your garage.
Yeah.
Other than that, shut your big fat pie hole. Like
Yeah.
you know, and that's the
Well,
problem.
here's
The
the
system
conundrum, though.
caters to those people,
Well,
right?
here's the like conundrum or the fact or irony, I'll say.
Uh-huh.
So the public community at large can sit in a bus stop all day long. There aren't any rules. It doesn't say, well, there's no signs on it that say
No.
you're only, you can't stay more than an hour or whatever, right? So how come um, any one of us could be sitting in that bus stop for an entire day
Hmm.
uh, and allowed to exist in there, where this poor person is trying to stay out of the cold, out of the wind, which was terrible, and
Hmm.
that um, instead of having a discussion with them or trying to attract them to, let's say, a better place, um, why they moved they moved the dwelling, right? It's like, are we that spineless we can't go out and find out why that person is there?
Hmm.
um,
Well, even, you know what? You go to the cities, um, there are so many places now they have empty factories, empty apartment buildings. They have empty buildings that are not being used anymore, right?
oh yeah, 100%. There's
What?
stuff all over the place. Yeah.
Why can't they fix up something, the city, for these people? Here's something. You can't stay here forever, but here's something to get out of the weather, you know?
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah,
that they can't do.
Susan's saying John Henry's trying to clean up Oshawa, and I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, not that he's a bad egg or anything. It's just, I get it. I mean, um, Oshawa when I came here was, I guess there's a culture and kind of vibe in every city.
Hmm.
I actually opened up a retail store right on Simcoe, South Simcoe, in fact, near the Italian club, and I think there's a
Oh, down there. Okay.
yeah. I had a guitar shop, and
Close
um,
down by the highway.
yeah, and I wasn't rattled by like the there were people that kind of lived out on the streets and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
you know what? You're in the community. They don't. We never had any break-ins. We had a lot of windows. We were on street level. We had a lot of gear in there, and never really had any issues. So, um, but some people, I mean, like, um, not like cleaning up a downtown core. I mean, Oshawa's been Oshawa. I think it's part of its character, right? I don't think you have to be out there
Yeah.
and be afraid to be out on the streets and all of that. I mean, you can be anywhere, honestly, downtown Toronto and run into
Yeah.
a lot worse. But so, yeah, yeah. And that's what they did, Susan. They just, get rid
Yep.
of the structure so the problem doesn't exist. And I think that's very coward like for the community to do that. I'd love
Hmm.
to be able to find out who ordered that at the city of Ajax.
Well,
But
again, yeah.
they've given me so many tickets, and I keep forgetting to pay them on time. So my last one, I'm probably in conviction again.
Uh-huh.
But oh, fun fact, and
Hmm?
I'll divulge this when in more detail if I choose to pursue it. But um, I was at a gas station during one of the snowstorms. Okay.
Hmm.
And there was a truck, a city truck,
Right.
township truck, whatever. I won't say which one, but
Yeah.
they were at a Petrocan. Okay. And this is
Hmm.
my rant. The truck was parked in a handicap space.
Right.
Okay. With the truck
Uh-huh.
running.
Hmm.
And I got the license plate and everything else. And guess what? The
Well,
guy had to park in that handicap spot There were no, all the other spots were available. There was no handicap sticker on the township vehicle, right? And that person was inside buying lottery tickets. I have a problem with that because I'm close to a lot of people that have handicaps, and you do not take one of those spots unless you got a sign on your car or you're walking somebody out who's got some kind of maybe a temporary problem. But stay out of them because they're not there for you. I mean, it's so inconvenient. Somebody with a handicap, if they're in a regular parking space, they can't navigate, get somebody into a wheelchair if they're assisted or whatever. But to see that was disgusting. So I did. I'm gonna Karen the shit out of that because they have no problem with ticketing my car, and they have many times if I'm on a side street, not in main traffic. And they especially ticket me when I have my big ass Ford 150 4x4 with the extra springs and jacked up. But if I park their same spot with my BMW, for some reason they don't ticket me. But that's a whole other it's like, okay, this isn't so much payback as it is it's the right thing to do. So yeah, I'm gonna Karen the shit out of that one. So it's Ringo Karen all over it.
I did that once in Ajax. I saw a guy pull into the handicap spot, and then he took off into the store, right?
Yeah.
I stopped my car right behind his, so in case he came out, he couldn't get out. And I had earlier seen the meter maid, and I went over and got them and brought them over, and he wrote him a ticket.
Wrote him a ticket, good.
Yep. Because that's bull crap. If I had a big beast of a vehicle, I'd probably drag it out of there.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, and people don't get it. Like you said, though, is if somebody has a wheelchair, the reason why they have the handicap spots, first, it's closer, easier to get into the mall or store.
Yeah.
But secondly, those parking spots are wider so that they can get the wheelchair out and get into it and not get jammed between vehicles.
Yeah.
So you lazy bastards that think you have the right to park there because you are lazy or in a hurry or just an ignorant piece of crap.
Yeah.
That's why it's there, and you deserve to get tickets and get towed away.
I think so.
Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Holy shit, here we go. Ranting away.
So here it is. Yeah. Wasn't even parked straight, but I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Okay. So
Nicely done.
I was behind the truck at a gas pump. So here's a guy from the city parked on an angle, okay, in a handicap spot. And I couldn't take a picture of the handicap spot because it was covered with snow and he was too busy inside getting his lottery tickets. Yeah. So I'm coming for you. Ringo's coming.
Yeah.
Your Huckleberry. But yeah, like,
good stuff.
I mean, how rude, right?
Uh-huh.
So this is the book I've been reading, Hype. Now that we're looking at my phone, one of those annoying guys. So the universe is a singular atom by the Dalai Lama.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you into it? Like,
I'm just
ready to start it.
It's kind of an easy read, yet it's maybe a hard read. Yeah, I'm just kind of getting into it, but that's one of those things you need to put on some Zen type music and kind of
and just tune out.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah,
let me know what you think of it.
Use of my energy, carrying the shit out of them. I'm carrying. You know what I like doing too is if so. I was driving beside this couple not too long ago. Well, actually, maybe over a month ago, and a couple of younger couple. And my truck is nice and high, so I can kind of see everything. They're in their car, and I could see them through the sunroof. doing a bong while they're driving.
Nice.
How stupid is that? You know,
Wow.
Cheech and
Well,
Chong. So I mean, like, and that's another thing too, is if you want to do something dumbass on the highway, and I think it might kill somebody as a result, I'm that Karen. I'll call the cops and throw. So, and I'm trying to think, there was a company. This guy was bobbing and weaving everywhere, and it was a bell truck. That's what it was, a
yeah,
bell truck. So I called it in. I was coming back from Port Perry, down, I think, Lake Ridge. And
yeah,
this guy was all over the road. So I said, if he's not talking on his cell phone, he is stoned. And that's the
yeah,
problem today, right? Like, I noticed, I was on a job recently, and I noticed that I could smell not only weed, but I could smell booze on one of the contractors. And I'm thinking, oh,
yeah,
somebody's got to go home, right? But
yeah.
yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that male Karen. No, I don't winging out like a Karen, but there are some things I think you have a moral obligation to just not be a blind eye. So yeah.
Well, I've done it often. Like when I see it, and if I'm not in a hurry to be somewhere, I'll do it. Like I've seen one, for instance, I was coming home from the city,
Mhm.
and there was a white panel van in front of me, all over the road, going over the center line, hitting the shoulder, coming back slow, coming back fast. Like I'm going, oh my God, this person's wasted,
Mhm.
right? So I got close enough. I got a picture of the license plate, and then I
Yep.
backed off, and I called the police. And I said, yeah, I know I'm not supposed to be on the phone in the car, but I'm following somebody who's
Mhm.
totally impaired. And they said, no, that's fine. And they stayed on the phone with me. And it was funny because I was following for about 15 minutes, and the cops were getting super close. And I think he felt something, because like we weren't right on his ass, but all of a sudden he did this crazy maneuver, pulled over on the shoulder, and did a 180 and almost hit cars that were coming the other way and
Wow.
tore off the other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had the cops on the phone, and I was going, holy shit. And I told them what he did. And they were just coming up the road, and they said, it's okay. We saw it. You don't have to follow him anymore. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And I'm
So,
going, yeah.
so one time uh, when I called on I think it was the bell truck, they asked me if I could follow him for a little longer,
Oh,
because they were
yeah?
trying to get a cop that was closer to an
Yes.
intersection. And
Yeah.
so I said, well, I got to a point where I said, I'm going to be turning off, but you'll have to take it from here, boys, right?
Yeah.
But so it was funny. One time I actually saw somebody drunk like that all over the road, and
Yeah.
I saw a police cruiser. So I pulled over to the police cruiser, and I said, hey, listen, there's a whatever truck XYZ going down the road,
Yeah.
clearly hammered, right? And the
Yeah.
guy goes, okay. And he says, what's your name? So I gave him my name. And I said, what's your name? He said, Jim Bond. And I said, oh, really? And he said, yeah, you can call me James, though.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
yeah. So, yeah, Keisha said snow is always an excuse to park like an asshole, or like an ass, sorry,
or drive like one too.
or drive like one. But yeah, she's kind of picking up on the truck that was parked in the handicap zone. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Gotta sleep, guys. Night, night. So
All
yeah,
right.
and I noticed
Good night,
Kathy
Susan.
failed for the same reasons. And you know what? People are probably shoveling themselves out right now.
I wouldn't doubt it. Like I can
Get a head
hear
start
the
on them.
wind, but it's died down a little bit. But
Yeah. So
I
thanks
I'm
for
gonna
coming on, Susan, and all your great comments. So hopefully we'll
yeah.
see you next week on the Heikadelic Show.
And do your experiment with your phone and let us know what happens.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna try that myself. You know what?
Yeah.
I think I got enough booze in this and I drank the pitcher's empty. So
You finished it, so you'll be sleeping well tonight.
oh, you know what I forgot to do is the backside, and it's like 10:45 already.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we could do it quick. What the
We'll
hell?
Yeah, quick backside.
We'll throw it in there for the
Let's
people
try
that
it.
are still with
Let's
us.
try it.
Yeah.
So if you're still out there, peeps. Okay, so let me just see if I can get it better. Okay, so here's the backside here. And
Yeah.
interesting artwork.
Uh-huh.
Does anyone have a guess?
Wow.
I should have had the, so I think Kathy's logged off. So she might be a little ticked that we're doing this so late, but any ideas?
Well, then she'd stay on till the end.
Yeah, really. We should do that. Mandatory.
I don't know. It's hard to make it. It's like either
It's got like a hand with some kind of
a
nail.
person, and the other hand is red, so it could be from down below, or it could be an alien,
Could
or
be.
that's what I'm thinking. The heavenly hand and the hand from below.
Yeah, could be.
And I have no clue who that is.
Right. So this is definitely someone from Europe. It's a solo artist. I don't know what else I want to offer up as a clue here, but
a European solo artist.
Yeah.
Nope. I've never seen that one before.
No?
Nope.
Till next Monday. Okay, we'll see you, Susan. So yeah. Yeah, I've been
you can have people tell us next Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, more people. We'll do two.
Bring it back up again next week. Oh, the wind's still pretty strong out there.
We can do Battle of the Backsides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I've been watching a lot of a ton of UFO stuff right now because obviously that stupid event we had where we spent.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if we talked about it last week, but
yeah, the week
Tomahawk
before, I think,
missiles at $26,000 a missile, and then the Americans topped that by sending two guided missiles out. One actually missed the target, so I don't know if they blew it up overseas or whatever. But allegedly, those were $400,000 each, so that was a $800,000. Why didn't they use appropriate force, right? Which would be a pellet gun or a BB gun.
Well, I don't know how a missile can shoot down a balloon.
Yeah.
Like it's a balloon. Isn't the missile going to go right through it?
It should, unless it had something in the core, right, that would detonate. But I just what got me was when Trudeau did his. Well, I ordered them to take it down, right? Well,
yeah.
And he didn't look at the camera. He looked at his shoes, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he
didn't know what it was.
Continued to call it a UFO. And the issue I've got with that is like, okay, you just took our handguns away. Where if you're responsible, hunter, there's a thing called duck identification, and you have to know what you're going to shoot. You can't blind fire.
You have to identify your target before you shoot.
Absolutely. So we shot down something we continued to call a UFO for almost 2 days afterwards. And what gives, right? So
it's all backwards, right? The ones that make the laws are breaking the laws. That's okay.
Yeah.
They'll get theirs when the real aliens
You
come.
would, yeah, exactly. We can only hope, right?
Yeah, I know, eh?
And they're the first ones to
Wow.
get probed. That would be
But
nice.
there has been a fair bit of action with all this UFO stuff globally lately.
Yeah, well,
It's
actually,
surfaced up again, right? I remember it used to always just be the hippies
yep.
or the rednecks, the ones that live in trailer parks, right? They're all the ones that I've ever saw any of this stuff. No one else got interviewed, so they
Yeah.
made it look like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah, these are Hicks and Yankees and whatever.
yeah,
But there's a misconception about that. Most quote Hicks aren't dummies at all, right? I
no.
consider myself a bit of a Hick growing up in Sudbury. You northern redneck, you know.
Oh, here's what I wanted. Have you ever? Oh, what's this? It's called something monsters, I believe. There's a bunch of hillbilly rednecks. They all have the big southern twang accents, and they all have guns, and they're running around at night in the forest looking for the grass man. Have you seen this?
Um,
It's a show, and
yeah, it's like
it's on often.
monster,
Like
whatever. And they look like a bunch
they're
of
trying to
movies.
capture Bigfoot, and
Yeah,
these guys all seem to be very uneducated, and they got guns
well,
with ammo,
I think
and they're
you need
running
to
around
put
like
the net up
idiots, going to
here.
go shoot something. Oh yeah, and it's
I got a
wild.
great idea. I'm gonna run around naked,
We're gonna trap them. They bought
and
this
you
old
when you see
van.
my hairy ass, you just
Yeah,
shoot. Don't worry about hitting me.
they got a
Yeah.
van, and they took all the glass out of it, and they welded metal in, and they
Okay.
made like a trap, and they put food and shit inside to trap
Mhm.
this thing. And when it came, the door was gonna slam shut, and they were gonna lock it in there. You know, like that's the kind of stuff they're doing. It's crazy.
Mhm.
And then you hear guns go off, and the one guy tripped over a log, and he fell in the pond, and he started shooting, and it's like, guys, it's dark, and everybody's running around with guns here.
Those are the ones that they have three guys that are quite large,
Uh-huh.
and they all drive around in those what are they called? Side
Art.
by side ATVs. They don't do much
Yeah.
walking. They don't do much walking. Those guys. There's three of them that are definitely
No,
on.
this is a big group.
Yeah,
It's a big group. There's like six guys, I think.
yeah. But there's like three or four of them that could, miss a meal or two. Because they're they're not running too hard, and when they do, they're always falling or something stupid. Because
Yeah.
I've seen that a few times. It's kind of entertaining to watch, but they're no Duck Dynasty.
No, I tried watching it, but I couldn't finish.
Yeah,
Someone's gonna get shot here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you go, maybe it's just for entertainment. Who knows, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a lot of those are heavily staged. So,
Well, I think so, because someone's going to get hurt otherwise. They yell and scream when they hear and see shit,
yeah,
and then they tear off running.
yeah. Well, as I said earlier, I've been watching a lot of Joe Rogan podcasts, and surprisingly, like he's got a pretty open mind when it comes to UFOs and things like that. And he was
Right.
talking about he doesn't believe in Bigfoot, which is interesting because a while ago it seemed like he was all about it. But he has I guess he has some valid points. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I was watching too was the heck is that church that John Travolta's part of, and keep thinking the Illuminati, which is probably not too far off. Church of Scientology.
Oh yeah.
So they were
Tom
talking
Cruise is
about
in
different.
that too.
Yeah, yeah. There's a number of people like Tom Cruise and a few others, but
Yeah.
it's funny. I was in L.A. My daughter and I, and they had we walked right by the church, and they had people out in the street trying to recruit you. Um,
Hmm.
it's quite the cult, actually. It's um, the actress from King of Queens. What's her last name? Remy, I think. Anyway,
I don't know.
she tried. She was part of it since she was a kid, and she tried to expose them. And she's run into a lot of issues as a result of that. So,
Ah,
but
they're trying to shut her up, are they?
yeah, I guess so. Why am I yawning? Well, I guess it is almost 11. So,
Oh, it's almost past your bedtime.
mhm.
You getting up early in the morning?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this weather lightens up tonight so that you get a chance, because otherwise the city's going to be a gridlock again.
Yeah. I mean, with my job, I can work from home a lot. So,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, I
That's
think
good.
tomorrow I'll be doing that. But
Yeah.
so yeah, we should probably wrap her up because I gotta hit the little man's room.
Well, you sucked back a whole pitcher of drink there,
Yeah, I
so
know.
yeah.
Did I show you this hike? This is um the
No.
Ontario Military Vehicle Mag,
Oh. Oh,
and
really?
yep, it's so they put it's the Ontario Military Vehicle Association. They got some neat articles, but I spent some time at some outings this year. I'm just trying to find oh yeah. So I don't know if you can see this, but that's oops, that's my truck and
Right?
my trailer behind it. So
Oh, nice. You got the whole unit there.
yeah, so they got it. That's right on one of the um, front pages, I guess.
Oh, so that's
So
one of the events that you went to there where all the trucks were and everything?
yeah, so they had steam era equipment there. So they had an old, with farming kind of steam vehicles, and then they had the military section, which my truck's right on the end. It's hard to see
That's
there.
cool. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And some of my buddies who have the same trucks were in it as well. Let's see here. Yeah, some really neat rigs out at this thing. So there'll be more of these. It's open to the public. I think there's an entry fee.
Right.
Because I'm an associate member, I get that part of the membership. But great family thing, and historical. They also had like a civilian war reenactments. That was kind of neat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
really neat.
that's kind of cool.
And they had a military parade, like vehicle parade, which I kind of bailed on. There we go. There's my buddy Josh's truck, which is
okay.
similar to mine.
Has that got the canvas on the back, or
It's
is it?
got a canvas back. That's the only
Right.
difference. Mine's got a hard back on it.
Yeah.
But that's Josh, and he's I think he works for the city as a city security officer, but he's also like an ex-military
Okay.
from I think out west. But,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so
Yeah, so
looking
there's
forward to
lots of
this
clubs
one.
and groups you can get into, eh? It just
Tons
depends what
of-
you like, and
Yeah.
I think there's stuff out there for everybody. But the nice thing there is you learn a little bit about survival and stuff as well, right?
You
Like
do,
the guys that
yeah.
are in this kind of stuff, and I think
Just a little bit.
it's gonna be an important
It's
thing,
going to
I
be
think, in
coming
our
in
future.
handy soon. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of weird stuff popping up too. I saw a little article on an engine that runs on water, right? And it was a generator, and it just runs on water. You just fill the tank full of water, and it has a separator, and it takes the hydrogen out of it, and it runs on the hydrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw some interesting things like perpetual power, like the concept of taking, what the heck did they use now? A battery operated drill that would create work off some kind of alternator or generator that would go back and back power the drill.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, oh wow, if you can balance that power, you'd have power forever.
And
right?
I've always said this, like with electric anything, like electric cars as well, right? I always picture the trunk full of batteries, and then you have your motors that make everything go, and on your drive shafts you have generators.
A generator,
right?
Yeah.
And they recharge the batteries, and then you have solar panels on the tops of the vehicles to recharge the batteries. And I don't know why they can't do it. Like, is that technology?
I think
so far out of reach. Like,
no, the technology's there, but if you do something like that, you're going to put so many people out of business, right?
Well,
because it's a clean energy and it's perpetual, and nobody makes. The government would lose, all their fuel tax, right? And there's not enough cigarettes being smoked these days to make.
Well, they're going to lose all their carbon tax and fuel tax anyways once they keep pushing all the electric cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a system that can't take any more electrical drain because we have brownouts all the time.
Yeah.
They tell us in the summer, turn off your air conditioners or turn them down during the day because we're having brownouts. We don't have enough power, which I think is bullshit too. But does that not make sense to people out there? If you're having brownouts all summer, why do you want us to have electric cars that also need hydro?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
doesn't make sense.
No,
doesn't make sense at all. But who are we to tell? We just have our opinions. Well, buddy, looks like you're fading.
I am fading.
I think I'm.
So I'm kind of surprised because after drinking that, I do feel pretty mellow now. So.
Well, that's good. At least you'll rest well tonight and be nice and fresh for tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to go have a brownie and hit the sack too. Cool. So I just want to thank the people that are part of our show tonight, which is Kathy, who was number one, and Olaf. Thank you for being on the show. It's always a pleasure. Rhonda, Susan, and Keisha. That's awesome. So Susan's going to tell us next week what happens when she puts her cell phone next to the TV on a different language.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I did it in Spanish. So just to let you know. Yeah, I did Spanish.
I'll try it like Swahili or something. Whatever I can get in a different language, I'll give it a spin. So.
All right. So you have a great week, buddy.
Yeah.
And all you fans.
Yeah.
It's nice having you. Enjoy yourself. Thanks for being a part of the show. And we'll see you right back here next Monday night at 9:30 on the Heikadelic Show. Have a great week.
Have a good week.
Will do.
Well, that's another wrap for the Heikadelic Show, folks, so time to get dirty. And don't forget, listen in next week on Monday night and every Monday after that for the Heikadelic Show at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like more information on the Heikadelic Show, please find us at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. We'll see you all next week on the Heikadelic Show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor for the Heikadelic Show, it's easy. Just send us an email at info@theheikedelicshow.com. Meanwhile, you can browse our website at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. Click on our sponsor tab and find out more information on sponsorships. Thanks for joining the Heikadelic Show, fans.